from really famous people or people who come from very kind of extreme backgrounds, so like kind of more the gang life kind of focus, and how they talk about the things that they've done and how they came to Islam, and it's so inspiring. Muslims always love kind of revert stories and things like that. It's just really, really inspiring.
I like the revert stories, but also I like the efforts that the brothers have put in to trying to make the channel really interesting and engaging for young people. I think it's very much a youth-focused channel. You know, I was having a look through the channel, and there are some things that interest me, but to be honest, I don't think I'm their target audience. So I wouldn't expect everything to appeal to me. But they've got some interesting videos about things like horoscopes. I remember there was a really good video which was created. It's almost like a drama that they have like a little role play with some of the brothers where they talk about horoscopes and things like that. So I thought that was quite an interesting and engaging video. So I do like the fact that they do role plays and they try and kind of, you know, give out the message like that.
I think it's one of those things that appeals to everyone, especially for Muslims. It kind of helps you reaffirm your iman as well. When you see people's stories about, you know, what their life was like before and how they came to Islam, it's always like, subhanAllah, that's just amazing. Because you think, you know, you think about things in a totally different way, and it sometimes helps you to think about your own life and what you do, and you think, wow, you know, I never thought of it like that.
I have to say, I don't think the channel is accessible to everyone. For example, if you're not familiar with kind of certain slang terms or whatever it is, then probably you might not understand some of the things that are being said. So, and particularly for people from international countries, they might find it a little bit difficult to understand what is being said. But I do think it's effective for the people it's targeted at, and that's something we need to remember.
That's the thing. Sometimes we can lump the teenage youth as just one type of homogenous group, when, you know, there are very, very many different types. And what's good about comparing the two that we're doing today is this is for a specific kind of youth, more so from a particular kind of background, who's kind of more of a kind of street life kind of background. But then there's other channels that kind of target different types of people, like you were saying. So that's a good thing. I think that's the thing. For the others, it's a bit rough, I think. I don't know how else to put it, but it can come across a little bit like that in terms of a
Do you know what I
negative.
find particularly interesting is the revert stories of sisters as well, mashallah, because you find a lot of people kind of tend to think like, you know, Islam is really oppressive towards women, but then you have these sisters, mashallah, who've come from these backgrounds that are, you know, liberated and, you know, and liberating, and then they've decided to become Muslim, and I think that's really, really interesting to see, you know, why it is they left the life behind that they did and they've come to Islam. I think that's always beautiful, mashallah.
Yeah, mashallah.
And Bayyinah, mashallah, is a very interesting channel, very informative, very educational.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's got a lot of things in there. One of the things I really love about this channel, it's one of my favourites, I have to admit, is it gave me a really good insight into some of the programmes that Bayyinah did. I actually attended Bayyinah last year, so it really helped me to make that decision. I think it is really, really highly informative, and I would recommend everyone kind of go out and just have a look at some of their videos, because, for example, I know they've got a series on there, A Day in the Life of a Quran Intensive Student, which I watched all 30 of those videos, and I watched them about 3 times over, because I found it really inspiring. Just the methodology of teaching is very different, it's very unique, and I find that to be really, really engaging. So I definitely do find that to be beneficial. They have lots of lectures on there as well. You know, there's some, mashallah, some really, really great shuyukh on there as well. Sheikh Abdul Nasir Jangda. I'm a bit biased because he's, you know, he did teach me when I went over there, so alhamdulillah. But they, you know, really engaging, and I think also they cover concepts which are, you know, from the Quran. So everything is very much centered around what we can learn from the Quran and the kind of lessons we can take away from there. But it is an Arabic-focused kind of channel as well. So I do find a lot of the things are trying to engage and educate people about the Arabic language and the intricacies and nuances within that.
But then you also have the Superstar series, looking at the prophets, and I love that the videos are only a few minutes long. I have the worst attention span, subhanAllah, so it's just perfect for me that they home in on one particular issue and really expand on that, and that gives depth. I think the advent of these kind of channels of this kind is that it's taken that cultural level to far higher than it's ever been, and I think that's really where we're at the moment and what we need.
But I would say that sometimes, when, you know, what I found is often, you know, with the YouTube generation, we have a lot of people who kind of feel like this kind of knowledge is enough, and I think we have to be aware that this kind of knowledge is really important. We should, you know, be trying to seek knowledge wherever and whenever we can, so these short clips are important, but it is important that we also seek knowledge in the traditional way with a scholar, so that we're able to fully understand exactly what the concepts are saying. If we're just watching the videos, that's not enough.
It's very much the beginning, and I think in terms of a negative, it's kind of a footnote to their proper channel, which you have to pay for, which I think is really annoying.
But the thing is, it's a medium that's available and that's out there, and alhamdulillah, it's beneficial for those who like to, have that sort of particular medium as well. So unfortunately, it is that time again, but don't worry, as we're back again tomorrow, inshallah, with the rights of the husband. Here's another reminder of this week's competition.
This week on Women's AM, we are holding an exciting competition for you sisters out there. Up for grabs are three £50 worth of tuition vouchers from LCE Tuition Centre. To be in with a chance to win these vouchers, all you have to do is answer the following question. How many prophets are mentioned by name in the Holy Quran? Is it A, 35, B, 25, C, 20, or D, 124,000? To enter, email your answer A, B, C or D to womensam@islamchannel.tv, along with your name and address and what you most like about Women's AM. The deadline for entries is Friday the 2nd of May 2014 at 4 p.m. All applicants need to be over 18 and residing in the UK. Please note only one entry per person per household. This week, 3 winners will be randomly selected from correct entries and the winners' names will be announced on Tuesday's show, so get entering.
Before we go, we'd like to congratulate sisters Rabia Badat, Yasmin Farouqi, Brishna Muhammad for winning last week's competition prize of adventure novels House of Ibn Kathir. So please make sure that you keep the ummah in your du'as, continue to strive in the deen, and inshallah join us tomorrow where we'll be discussing rights of the husband. Assalamu alaikum.
Attention! If you have suffered an injury as a result of an accident, here's an important announcement. Due to recent changes in the law, some solicitors could charge you up to 25% from any compensation you receive, but Claim 500 deduct nothing. So you keep every penny, every pound, every bit of compensation is yours. Make sure you choose Claim 500 to handle your